Hi, how's it going? My name is Steven, and today I would like to talk about git reset. So git reset is a very magic operations in git commands, and probably it's going to be one of my favorite commands in git operations. So the reason why I love it is not only actually it can enable you or give the capacity to you to let you do some experiments on on, on the codes, or but also it can be the alternative to some other fancy git operations like git squash or git cherry pick. So the reason why some people think git operations is actually hard is because there are so many git operations, and it's not easy to memorize all the operations in git operations. Yeah, and even me, I still can't figure out some git operations like git cherry pick. But I can use the git reset or some basic git operations to be a kind of alternative to them. But also that to think about this occasion or this scenario, if you have got a large code base, which is a large open source project, and everyone is working very professionally on the codes, and every piece of code is extremely professional, and you have got some new tasks that you are not very familiar with, and you want to do some experiments with your probably naive version, and you want without breaking the current coding base. And I think that's why the Git is really important for you. It's because it can enable you or allow you to make some experiments or make some changes on the existing code base, and it can make sure that you can go back in the future very easily, very flexible, and we can do this through Git reset. And today, I really want to talk about two options in Git reset. And also, I'm going to talk about how to use git reset as an alternative to git squash. And so there are two options in git reset. The first one is git reset soft, and the second one is git reset hard. So git reset soft is actually can be the alternative to git squash, and the git reset hard is like to drop some commits, to remove some commits. So maybe you like a little bit scared that you think this is so dangerous, like to drop commits. If some code is very important and if I accidentally use the git reset to remove them, and I'm gonna be fucked up. So, but also it doesn't matter actually. I can tell you that how I can recover this back probably in next tutorial by using git reflog. By the way, so. I really like some words that if you can keep your commits, as long as you keep your commits, I can recover anything back, no matter which commits you or which operations you are using to make some dangerous movements. So let's get it started. So first I'm gonna draw some pictures. My drawing is very bad, so I'm gonna draw some. So now, so the first thing I'm gonna demonstrate is how to drop some codes that you don't like. So imagine that now I've got some commits. This is commit 1, this is commit 2, and this is commit 3, and probably this is the current commit we are at. And we call this as head. I'm so sorry for my bad drawing. So this is head, and we are at this. So imagine that you are at head, and you make some differences on some files that you would like to add into Git. So imagine I've got some, this is new change, this is my new difference in the Git. So you can see that they are just some changes. They are not squashed into a commit, they are not solid. So they are just some new differences in Git. So you can use the Git operations git diff to show them out or print them out in the terminal. So the first purpose is to drop them out because you think this implementation or this new change is very awful. So you just want to somehow to remove them and go back to the head. And so this is the first thing we are going to do using git reset. And this is actually pretty easy. So let me do this for you. So we go back to here and go back to the project in my previous tutorials I made for the demonstration. So at first I go to the root folder where Git sits in. So you can see there's a Git folder where all the magic's happening there. And now And now I'm gonna use, and by the way, you can use git log to check that where you're up to. So now I've got 3 commits, and now we are at here, and this is a git head, the head of the commit line. And so the first I'm gonna open a random file, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just make some very stupid differences to demonstrate this git reset commands. That's it. So those are some differences, and of course those kind of very weird stuff not gonna work in a Python file. And if I save this, and if I use git diff, you can see that. So the git diff is gonna print out all the differences that I just made. Of course this is not gonna work in a Python file, so my purpose is gonna drop them. So I can use git reset, and now you are going to specify the options, and there are 2 options I just mentioned. The first one is hard, and the second one is soft. So we are going to do hard first, because the hard is actually very applicable to this kind of situation. And you specify where you want to reset to, and probably we are going to reset to like head, because we just want to drop those newest changes which hasn't been committed. So if you do this, and you do the git diff, you can see there's no difference, and you can nano this Python file again, and you're saying all the bad codes gone. Well, they're not codes, they're just some very random, some random shit. That's okay. And after this, I'm gonna tell that how to specify that. So imagine, so the last situation is actually something I just did there's no new commits, just some new changes. But what if something is gonna happen like, now this is our current commit. If I'm gonna add some new commits, and now I've got two more new commits in the future. So imagine this in the future after those 2 commits. You think that those two commits are very awful. You just want to drop them and remove back to the head. So now you are going to specify that. So you can't specify the head again. You want to reset back to, because in the future after you have got those 2 commits, your head is going to be here, not going to be here. So if you do the git reset head, there's nothing going to happen, because you will be reset back to these commits, not these commits. So now you need to specify that how many commits after the head you want to reset to. So I'm going to teach you a very good way to count this. So this is your head, and this is 1, 2, and you can specify those two gaps by using this mark and specify 2. I think probably my drawing is very awful. I'm just going to use the actual practice to demonstrate this. So now I'm going to open my test Python file again, and I'm going to add 1 more exclamation mark, and I'm going to use git diff. So you can tell that now I've got 1 difference, and I can use git commit, one more exclamation mark. Okay, so git committed, no change. Oh, I should use a git add first. Sorry for that. Git add. That's it, and I committed. Now, if I do the git log, you can tell that now I've got 1 more commit. So for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna add another commit. So I'm gonna add still 1 more exclamation mark, and save it, and use let git add this test file, and git differential again. Git. Okay. another exclamation mark. Oh, sorry for that. It's actually another I misspelled, but it's okay. If you use git log, you can show that now I've got 2 more commits. So now our head is currently here. This misspelled word. So if I want to drop back to here, because those 2 exclamation marks, I don't want them. So those are some bad changes. I just want only single exclamation mark there. So I have to reset back to here. So as I just specified, you can to count the gaps. So this is your head -1, head -2. So this is going to be the last token in your git reset head command. So now I'm going to do git reset head specify 2, and you check the git. Now we successfully reset back to this commit we just want. So this stuff, what just happened is actually after this command, those 2 commits are gone. Now we are back to this previous head. And now if you open the Python file, like test, so there's only got 1 single exclamation mark left. And that's it. So after this, I'm gonna tell, well, I think, I'm gonna split this video into 2. So today's content is only about the git reset head. So in the future, I'm gonna give the demonstration on git reset soft. So I think long video is not very good for learning computer science, and it's not good for demonstrations. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time very soon.